Madison Turner's fist connects with Derek Patterson's solar plexus at 3:47 p.m. in the Riverside Academy parking lot. The impact drives air from his lungs as he crumples to the asphalt. Chase Miller and Ryan Brooks stand frozen in shock. 30 seconds ago, they thought they were cornering a helpless girl. Now, they're watching their leader get systematically destroyed by someone who moves like liquid violence. What Derek doesn't know is that Madison Turner isn't even her real name. She's Alexandra Kane, daughter of the most dangerous criminal mastermind in American history. And everything her father taught her is about to be demonstrated with surgical precision. 7:30 a.m. at Riverside Academy, where marble floors cost more than most people's cars. Madison pulls her gray hoodie tight around her small frame. The fabric hides scars that map a childhood of professional violence training. Most students here worry about college applications, while Madison worries about federal marshals discovering her location. She keeps her head down, moving through hallways filled with privilege and entitlement. These kids have no idea what real danger looks like. Derek Patterson's voice cuts through morning chatter like a blade. He stands 6 feet 2 inches, with the confidence that comes from being Judge Patterson's son. His father sits on the state Supreme Court, making Derek practically untouchable in this riverside town. Chase Miller flanks his right, sheriff's son with dead blue eyes, while Ryan Brooks takes the left, city council chairman's boy, who enjoys others' pain. They rule Riverside Academy through fear and family connections. Their word is law among students and faculty alike. The trio passes Madison without acknowledgement. She's invisible, just another nobody in their kingdom. She prefers anonymity. It's survival when you're living under federal witness protection with a father serving multiple life sentences for crimes that made international headlines. Her real name, Alexandra Kane, died 2 years ago in an FBI raid. Madison Turner was born from that betrayal. A ghost trying to build something normal from the ashes of her past. First period, American History in room 207. Madison takes her corner seat while Mrs. Henderson lectures about revolutionary warfare. Derek and his crew dominate the front rows like occupying forces. Their presence poisons the educational atmosphere. Madison sketches in her notebook. Her pencil creates detailed floor plans and tactical assessments. Old habits from professional training. Every room is a potential battlefield requiring multiple exit strategies and improvised weapon locations. Miss Turner, Mrs. Henderson's voice snaps Madison back to reality. Perhaps you'd share your thoughts on asymmetric warfare tactics. The teacher expects stumbling uncertainty from a distracted student. Instead, Madison delivers analysis that would impress military strategists. Her response reveals knowledge that shouldn't exist in a normal teenager's mind. Derek turns to study this quiet girl, who just demonstrated expertise in combat theory. If you're enjoying Madison's story and want to see how deep this goes, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales of hidden strength. The thanks button below helps support these powerful stories that deserve to be told. Your support means everything to continuing these journeys. Thank you so much for being here. After class, Derek intercepts Madison in the hallway. His height advantage becomes obvious as he looms over her small frame. Interesting knowledge of violence for a good girl, he observes, testing boundaries like a predator assessing prey. Madison's training recognizes threat evaluation beginning. Her muscles tense imperceptibly while her breathing shifts into combat rhythm. I read military history. She deflects quietly, hoping to avoid further attention that could compromise her cover. Derek's hand shoots out, fingers wrapping around her wrist. The touch triggers memories of restraints and interrogation sessions from her father's compound. "My father's Judge Patterson," Derek continues, establishing dominance through family power. "Maybe you've heard of him." Madison meets his eyes for the first time. Derek sees something that makes him release her immediately. For just a moment. Her mask slips. Underneath lies predatory awareness that doesn't belong in a 17-year-old girl's expression. That afternoon in computer lab, Derek's curiosity overcomes caution. He hacks into the school's information system, expecting to find typical teenage secrets about Madison Turner. What he discovers instead stops his heart cold. Her file is classified at federal levels, restricted to authorized personnel only. The security clearance suggests witness protection or worse. Fragments mention Marcus Kane, daughter, and federal custody, protective placement. Derek's hands shake as recognition hits. Marcus Kane, the criminal mastermind his father sentenced to life without parole 2 years ago. The most dangerous prosecution in state history. Arms dealing. Assassination networks. International trafficking rings. Kane's daughter supposedly died in the FBI raid that brought him down, but Madison Turner sits 20 feet away, very much alive, and hiding in plain sight at Riverside Academy. The harassment campaign begins the next morning with psychological precision. Derek understands he's found leverage that goes beyond typical bullying dynamics. He doesn't want money or submission. He wants to break the daughter of his father's greatest enemy, to prove that even Marcus Kane's child can be destroyed by Patterson family power. The game starts subtly, whispered references to criminal families as he passes her in hallways. Loud discussions about witness protection programs near her locker. Madison endures each assault in silence. Her training taught her to remain calm under interrogation. But this feels different. This is her new identity being slowly dissected by someone who thinks he's untouchable. Derek escalates carefully, mentioning federal prisons during lunch and speaking about terrorist daughters loud enough for her to hear. Each psychological dart finds its target. Madison's careful composure shows hairline cracks as her past bleeds through. The first major escalation comes during chemistry lab. Derek partners with Madison for an experiment involving dangerous acids. As they work, he leans close enough that his breath touches her ear. "I wonder what other students would think if they knew they were sitting next to a murderer's daughter." His voice carries perfect threat modulation. He's enjoying this psychological torture immensely. Madison's grip tightens on the glass beaker. For a moment, Derek sees her calculating exactly how to transform it into a lethal weapon. Her anatomical knowledge would make even simple glassware deadly. She could open his carotid artery before he realized what happened. But she forces herself to release the beaker and step away. She's still hoping this nightmare will end without embracing the monster her father created. "I think you have me confused with someone else," Madison replies with forced calm. Her voice remains steady despite the storm building inside her chest. Derek smiles with predatory satisfaction. He knows he's found her weakness and plans to exploit it methodically. The bell rings, ending class. Madison escapes to the bathroom where she stares at her reflection in cracked mirrors. Alexandra Kane stares back, the weapon her father forged through years of brutal training. The killer disguised as a teenage girl. She's been running from this identity for 2 years, trying to build something normal from the wreckage of her childhood. But Derek Patterson is dragging her true nature back to the surface with each calculated cruelty during lunch. Derek escalates to direct confrontation. He approaches Madison's isolated corner table while the cafeteria buzzes with normal teenage energy. "How's Daddy doing in Federal Supermax? Alexandra," he whispers just loud enough for nearby students to hear. The name hits like a physical blow. Madison's hand trembles slightly as she grips her plastic fork. Derek notices the micro-expression and files it away for future exploitation. "My name is Madison Turner," she responds quietly. But her voice carries new steel. Something fundamental has shifted in her posture. Derek misinterprets the change as fear, when actually he's awakening something that should have stayed buried forever. Other students begin paying attention. They sense drama unfolding, but don't understand the deadly currents flowing beneath surface tensions. Derek leans closer, invading her personal space with deliberate intimidation. "We both know that's not your real name." His breath carries the confidence of someone who believes family connections make him invulnerable. He has no idea how close he is to triggering a response that would end his life in seconds. Madison's breathing shifts into combat rhythm. Old reflexes emerge as her father's training overrides civilian programming. "You don't know what you're dealing with," Madison says quietly. Her tone carries authority that comes from absolute certainty about violence and death. Derek feels a chill run down his spine. Something in her voice suggests she's not making empty threats. He backs away slowly, suddenly uncertain about the game he's been playing. Madison watches him retreat with eyes that have looked into hell and found it wanting. The breaking point arrives on a Thursday afternoon in late October. Derek decides to escalate beyond psychological warfare after 3 days of growing paranoia about Madison's strange confidence. He corners her in the empty library during study hall. Chase and Ryan block potential exits, while Derek positions himself between Madison and the main door. The setup is deliberate. No witnesses, no cameras, just Predator and what he believes is helpless prey.
"Time for some truth. Alexandra," Derek announces, using her real name like a weapon. "Seems like you're not taking our friendship seriously enough."
He steps closer, invading her personal space, while Madison's body automatically shifts into defensive posture. Her training activates. Muscle memory from 7 years of professional conditioning floods her system with deadly knowledge and capability. "I don't want any trouble," Madison replies, but her voice now carries undertones that make Chase and Ryan exchange nervous glances. They've never heard that particular combination of calm control and barely restrained violence. Derek misreads the situation completely. He thinks fear is making her voice strange when actually she's calculating kill shots and body disposal methods with professional efficiency. Derek reaches out to grab her wrist. This time, Madison doesn't allow the contact. Her hand moves with inhuman speed, intercepting his fingers and applying pressure that makes him gasp in sudden agony. The technique is precise, causing maximum pain without permanent damage. "I said I don't want trouble," she repeats quietly. Her grip increases incrementally as Derek's face goes white with shock. For the first time, Derek experiences genuine fear. This quiet girl has just demonstrated combat skills that suggest professional training beyond anything a normal teenager should possess. Madison releases his hand, and he stumbles backward. The person looking at him now bears no resemblance to the victim he's been tormenting. This is someone who has killed before and would kill again without hesitation or remorse. "You have no idea who you're dealing with," Madison continues, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. "But you're about to find out." She turns and walks away, leaving 3 bullies standing in sudden understanding that they've awakened something terrible. Derek watches her go, his mind racing. He's seen that kind of controlled lethality before, in documentaries about special forces operators and career criminals. That evening, a knock comes at Derek's bedroom window. He looks up from his computer to see a man in dark clothing balanced on the fire escape outside. The figure gestures for Derek to open the window, when he hesitates. The man produces a federal badge and identification. FBI agent Marcus Chen climbs through the window with fluid grace. His presence fills Derek's room with professional menace. "You've been accessing classified information," Agent Chen states without preamble. His voice carries the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed without question. Madison Turner's file, specifically. Derek's throat goes dry as he realizes the scope of his mistake. Federal agents don't make house calls for simple computer crimes. "We need to talk about what happens next." Agent Chen settles into Derek's desk chair like he owns the space. His casual positioning somehow makes him more intimidating than overt threats would. Madison Turner is under federal protection for reasons that remain classified. He continues conversationally, "Your interference with that protection constitutes a felony under multiple federal statutes." Derek feels his world beginning to crumble as the implications sink in. "I was just messing around," Derek protests weakly. "I didn't know she was in witness protection." Agent Chen's smile contains no warmth or humor. It's the expression of a professional who has heard every excuse and found them all inadequate. "Ignorance isn't a defense against federal crimes," he observes, "but you might have options depending on your future behavior." The conversation continues for 30 minutes. Agent Chen explains exactly how Derek's life will be destroyed if he continues harassing Madison or reveals her identity to others. Federal prosecution. His father's judicial career ending in scandal. Family assets seized under criminal forfeiture laws. Derek understands he's been presented with a choice between cooperation and complete destruction. After Agent Chen departs through the same window he entered, Derek sits alone in his room staring at walls that suddenly feel like prison bars. He's trapped in a situation that goes far beyond high school social dynamics. Madison Turner isn't just dangerous. She's protected by federal resources that could erase his entire existence if he continues this path. But Derek Patterson has never been good at accepting defeat. His entire identity depends on being the dominant force in every situation he encounters. The FBI visit should have ended his harassment campaign. Instead, it convinces him that Madison represents a threat to his fundamental worldview. If he can't break her, then everything he believes about power and privilege becomes meaningless. His pride demands victory, even if his survival instincts scream warnings. The next morning brings a different strategy. Derek decides to recruit allies from Madison's own past if he can't destroy her directly. He spends hours researching Marcus Kane's criminal organization, looking for connections that might still exist despite federal prosecution efforts. What he finds exceeds his wildest expectations. Kane's network wasn't completely dismantled. Several key figures remain unaccounted for, probably still loyal to their imprisoned leader. Derek begins making phone calls to numbers found in dark web forums. He poses as a journalist researching Kane's case, hoping to make contact with surviving organization members. His plan is simple. If he can't break Madison directly, maybe her father's old associates can be convinced to eliminate this federal witness who betrayed their leader. Derek has no idea that every call he makes is monitored by federal surveillance systems. Meanwhile, Madison notices changes in the school environment. Teachers treat her differently. Administrators watch her with nervous attention. Her federal handler, Agent Sarah Martinez, contacts her through encrypted messaging. Situation developing. Maintain normal routine, but stay alert. Madison understands that Derek's harassment has triggered responses beyond high school social dynamics. During lunch that day, Madison receives an unexpected visitor. An elderly man approaches her table with the confidence of someone accustomed to being obeyed without question. He's dressed like a school maintenance worker, but his eyes carry the cold intelligence of a professional killer. Madison recognizes him immediately from childhood memories of her father's compound. "Hello, little shadow," the man says quietly, using Marcus Kane's pet name for his daughter. "Your father sends his regards." He sits across from her without invitation, his presence transforming the cafeteria into a battlefield where innocent students eat lunch, unaware of the violence lurking beneath surface normalcy. "We've been watching over you," as promised. The man introduces himself as Thomas Grant. Though Madison knows that's not his real name, he was one of her father's most trusted lieutenants, a master tactician who specialized in psychological warfare and strategic planning. His survival of the federal raids suggests either incredible luck or deliberate federal protection. Madison suspects the latter and wonders what deals were made in shadows. "Derek Patterson has been making inquiries about your father's organization," Grant informs her conversationally. Clumsy attempts to contact surviving members through monitored channels. His smile carries the warmth of a grandfather mixed with the coldness of a professional killer. Madison understands that Derek has escalated far beyond high school bullying into genuinely dangerous territory. Grant reaches into his maintenance coveralls and produces a small device. It looks like a normal smartphone, but Madison recognizes military-grade encrypted communication equipment. "Your training was never completed," he observes. "Circumstances interrupted your education before you learned advanced techniques." His eyes carry paternal warmth, mixed with professional assessment. He's offering to finish what Marcus Kane started. "I don't want to be that person anymore." Madison protests quietly. She's spent 2 years trying to build something normal from the wreckage of her childhood. Grant nods with understanding. He's seen this struggle before in children trained for violence who later desire peaceful lives. "Sometimes we don't get to choose who we need to become," he replies gently. "Sometimes survival demands embracing what we were made to be." The conversation continues for 20 minutes. Grant explains that Derek's phone calls have attracted attention from surviving Kane organization members who view him as either a threat or an opportunity. Some want to eliminate him for threatening Marcus Kane's daughter. Others want to recruit him as a weapon against federal witness protection programs. Madison realizes she's become the center of a conflict that extends far beyond Riverside Academy. "What do you want me to do?" Madison asks finally. She understands that remaining passive is no longer an option. Grant's smile widens. He's been waiting for this question since he sat down. "We want you to remember who you are," he replies simply. "Alexandria Kane, daughter of Marcus Kane, trained from childhood to be the perfect weapon." His words carry the weight of destiny and bloodline. Madison feels her carefully constructed civilian identity beginning to crack. That afternoon, Madison skips her last 2 classes. Instead, she follows Grant to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. The building looks derelict from outside, but the interior has been converted into a sophisticated training facility. Equipment that belongs in military installations fills spaces between concrete pillars. Grant has been preparing for this moment since Madison entered witness protection. "Your father's training was interrupted by federal intervention," Grant explains as he activates electronic systems. "But muscle memory remains, waiting to be awakened." Lights illuminate target ranges and combat areas. Madison sees equipment designed for teaching advanced killing techniques to professional assassins. Derek Patterson has forced this situation by threatening your cover. Now you must choose between remaining hidden or embracing your true nature. The training session begins slowly. Grant tests Madison's retained skills through basic exercises that gradually increase in complexity. Her body remembers lessons beaten into muscle and bone. Techniques flow back like water filling an empty vessel. Within an hour, Madison demonstrates capabilities that would terrify federal agents. She's becoming Alexandria Kane again, whether she wants to or not. Your father would be proud, Grant observes as Madison executes a complex disarmament sequence. You retained more than we hoped during your civilian years. His voice carries genuine admiration. Marcus Kane's daughter is fulfilling her genetic and educational potential despite years of suppression. Derek Patterson has awakened something he can't possibly understand or control.
As the session concludes, Grant presents Madison with items that transform her from teenage victim into professional predator. Custom-fitted tactical clothing,
Encrypted communication devices, and weapons that look innocent but carry deadly capabilities. Tomorrow, Derek Patterson will discover what happens when privileged children play games with professional killers. Grant states with cold satisfaction, "Your education continues now." Watching Madison transform from victim back into her father's weapon. What do you think Derek deserves after pushing her this far? Comment below. Should she show mercy or give him exactly what his actions have earned the next morning at Riverside Academy? Madison Turner no longer exists. Alexandria Kane walks through marble hallways with predatory grace. Gone are the oversized hoodies and downcast eyes. She wears fitted black clothing that allows full range of movement. Her posture radiating controlled violence, barely held in check. Students sense the change without understanding it. Some primitive instinct warns them to provide wider berth as she passes. Derek Patterson arrives at school to find his world fundamentally altered. Chase Miller approaches with obvious terror etched across his face. "Dude, we need to talk." Chase whispers urgently, "Someone broke into my house last night, left photos of me sleeping on my pillow." The images show Chase completely vulnerable, taken by professionals who could have killed him easily. This is way beyond anything we can handle. Ryan Brooks joins them with similar stories. Mysterious phone calls to his parents, revealing embarrassing family secrets. His car tires slashed with surgical precision. "She's got people working for her," Ryan stammers. "Real professionals who know things about our families that aren't public record." And the three bullies realize they're no longer dealing with high school dynamics. This has escalated into a war they're completely unprepared to fight. Madison's first victory comes during second-period English. Derek attempts to maintain his harassment campaign by whispering threats about exposing her identity to the entire school, instead of retreating. Madison turns to face him with a smile that belongs on an apex predator. "Go ahead," she says conversationally. "See what happens when you try." Her voice carries absolute confidence, backed by lethal capability. Derek hesitates, sensing trap parameters he can't identify. Madison's transformation has created variables he doesn't understand. During the pause, Chase's phone buzzes with a text message, photos of his sheriff father accepting bribes from known criminals, evidence that would destroy his family's law enforcement career. "Stop now or everyone sees these." The message reads, Chase goes pale as he realizes the scope of their opposition. By lunchtime, the systematic destruction of Derek's power base accelerates. Ryan receives similar evidence about his city council father's corruption. Detailed financial records showing illegal campaign contributions and backdoor real estate deals. The information is too precise for teenage research. Professional intelligence gathering has exposed every weakness in their family's armor. Madison sits alone at her corner table, methodically eating while monitoring her enemy's growing panic. Grant taught her that psychological warfare often proves more effective than physical violence. "Break their minds first," she remembers him saying. "Bodies become easier to handle when spirits are already defeated." Derek's crew is experiencing professional demoralization techniques applied with scientific precision. The school administration begins noticing unusual tensions. Principal Morrison calls Derek to his office after receiving anonymous tips about the Patterson family's financial irregularities. Someone has been feeding information to federal investigators, creating legal pressure that threatens Judge Patterson's judicial career. Derek realizes he's fighting an enemy with resources far beyond his comprehension. During fourth period, Derek makes his most desperate gambit. He confronts Madison directly in front of the entire chemistry class. "This girl isn't who she pretends to be," he announces loudly. "Her real name is Alexandria Kane, daughter of the terrorist Marcus Kane." His revelation hits the classroom like a bomb. Students gasp as they recognize the name from national news coverage. But instead of cowering, Madison stands slowly. Her movement flows like liquid violence as every eye in the room focuses on her transformation. "That's right," she confirms with deadly calm. "I am Alexandria Kane." Her admission sends shockwaves through students who thought they knew her. The quiet girl has become something terrifying and magnificent. "My father taught me many things before the FBI took him away," Madison continues, her voice carrying across the silent classroom. "How to read people, how to exploit weaknesses, how to make problems disappear permanently." Derek realizes his revelation has backfired spectacularly. Instead of destroying her, he's unleashed something that was better left contained. Teacher Mrs. Rodriguez attempts to regain control. "Perhaps we should all calm down and focus on our chemistry lesson." But Madison's attention remains fixed on Derek with laser intensity. She's done hiding, done pretending to be something she's not. "Derek wanted everyone to know who I really am," she observes conversationally. "So let me show you exactly what that means." The near-defeat moment arrives during lunch when FBI agents surround the school. Agent Martinez and her team move to extract Madison before the situation escalates beyond federal control. Derek sees the federal response as validation of his tactics. If the government is intervening, then he must be winning this psychological war. "You see," Derek announces to gathered students in the cafeteria, "she's so dangerous they need federal agents to control her." His voice carries triumph as unmarked vehicles surround Riverside Academy. Emergency protocols activate as administrators try to manage what appears to be a terrorist incident. Derek believes he's orchestrated Madison's downfall through superior strategy. But Madison's response surprises everyone. She walks directly toward the federal agents with her hands visible and posture non-threatening. "Agent Martinez," she greets her handler calmly. "I assume you're here about the situation Derek Patterson has created." Her tone suggests professional consultation rather than federal arrest. Students watch in confusion as the interaction unfolds. "Madison Turner is coming with us," Agent Martinez announces to the assembled crowd. "This situation has escalated beyond local jurisdiction." But as agents move to escort Madison toward waiting vehicles, Thomas Grant emerges from the crowd of maintenance workers. His presence changes everything in ways that make federal agents reach for concealed weapons. "I don't think so," Grant says quietly. His voice carries authority that makes seasoned federal agents pause in their tracks. Alexandria Kane is under different protection now. More figures emerge from various positions around the school. Marcus Kane's surviving organization has been positioning assets while everyone focused on federal intervention. The extraction becomes a standoff between competing forces. Derek watches in growing horror as his simple harassment campaign transforms into armed confrontation between federal agents and criminal organization members. Students scream and dive for cover as the cafeteria becomes a battlefield. He realizes he's triggered something far beyond his ability to control or comprehend. Forces that operate in shadows have come into direct conflict over one teenage girl. "Everyone stay calm," Agent Martinez commands. Her team forms defensive positions while Grant's people maintain strategic advantage through superior positioning. Madison stands between the two factions like the eye of a hurricane. Her presence is the catalyst that brought these opposing forces into direct confrontation. Nobody wants innocent students caught in crossfire. Madison steps forward, her movement causing both sides to tense. She has become the most dangerous person in the room, despite being the youngest and smallest. "Enough," she says with quiet authority. "This ends now before innocent people get hurt." Her father's training included de-escalation techniques for exactly this type of situation. She begins implementing lessons learned in childhood. Derek Patterson created this situation through his harassment and illegal computer activities. Madison continues, her voice carrying across the silent cafeteria. "He wanted everyone to know who I am, so now you all know." She turns to face Derek directly. Her eyes hold depths of experience that belong in someone much older and more dangerous than any teenager should be. Grant nods slightly, understanding his protégé's strategy. Madison is taking control of the narrative while maintaining moral authority. Agent Martinez recognizes professional manipulation techniques being deployed with expert precision. This girl has learned from masters of psychological warfare. Derek realizes he's become a pawn in a game played by people who view human life as expendable resource. The final confrontation unfolds in the parking lot after school. Madison has orchestrated events to create the perfect stage for resolution. Derek, Chase, and Ryan approach her car thinking they have numerical advantage, 3 against 1 in an apparently isolated location. They don't notice the watchers positioned throughout the area. Both federal agents and Kane organization members have taken strategic positions. "Time to finish what you started, Alexandra," Derek calls out as his crew surrounds Madison's vehicle. His confidence has returned now that federal agents aren't immediately visible. "No more games, no more hiding behind other people." He produces a baseball bat from his BMW's trunk. Chase and Ryan follow with similar weapons, creating the appearance of imminent violence. Madison stands calmly beside her car, showing no fear despite being outnumbered and apparently outgunned. Her posture suggests someone completely comfortable with violence and death. "You're right," she agrees conversationally. "Time to stop playing games." Her hand moves to her jacket pocket. Derek tenses, expecting a weapon, but she produces only her cell phone. This is Alexandria Kane requesting immediate support at Riverside Academy parking lot. Madison speaks into the device. Her words carry across the empty space like a death sentence. Derek realizes too late that the isolation is illusory. They're surrounded by professionals who have been waiting for exactly this moment. The parking lot becomes a killing ground with Madison at its center. Chase swings his bat first. Madison moves like liquid lightning, redirecting his attack into Ryan's midsection with minimal effort. Years of professional training manifest as she flows between opponents, using their size and aggression against them. Within seconds, both attackers are on the ground gasping for air while their weapons skitter across asphalt. Derek faces her alone, his bat trembling in suddenly sweaty hands. The girl standing before him bears no resemblance to the victim he's been tormenting. This is Alexandria Kane in her truest form, a weapon forged by one of history's most dangerous criminals and tempered by years of federal protection. "Please," Derek whispers. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." "You knew enough," Madison replies with clinical detachment. "You chose to threaten someone under federal protection, to harass the daughter of Marcus Kane, to play games with forces beyond your understanding." Her voice carries no anger or emotion. This is simply professional assessment of a problem requiring permanent solution. FBI agents emerge from concealment positions, followed immediately by Grant and his team. The parking lot fills with armed professionals representing opposing philosophies but united in protecting Madison's interests. Derek realizes he's trapped between federal law enforcement and criminal organization operatives. His harassment campaign has created a situation where both sides want him eliminated. Agent Martinez approaches with her weapon drawn but not aimed. Her expression shows professional irritation at having jurisdiction complicated by criminal involvement. "Derek Patterson, you're under arrest for accessing classified federal information and threatening a protected witness," she announces, federal charges that will destroy his family's political influence completely. Grant steps forward with his own agenda. "Actually, Derek Patterson has threatened someone under our protection as well." His smile contains promises of violence that federal custody might not prevent. Marcus Kane's organization handles betrayal and threats with permanent solutions. "We have competing claims on this individual." Madison raises her hand, stopping both factions from escalating. She has orchestrated this confrontation to achieve specific objectives that require careful conclusion. Derek Patterson will face federal prosecution for his crimes, she states with absolute authority. "But he will also understand that my father's reach extends beyond prison walls." Both sides nod acceptance of her decision. Alexandria Kane has become the power broker in her own protection. The resolution unfolds over following weeks. As Derek's world collapses systematically, federal prosecution destroys Judge Patterson's career, while criminal organization pressure eliminates their family's social influence. Derek transfers to military boarding school under federal supervision. His harassment of Madison Turner has earned him permanent exile from normal society. Chase and Ryan face similar consequences, their family's corruption exposed through anonymous tips that destroy law enforcement and political careers. The Sheriff's Department undergoes federal investigation, while City Council faces criminal charges. Madison's enemies discover that attacking Marcus Kane's daughter carries consequences that extend beyond immediate punishment. Riverside Academy implements comprehensive anti-bullying policies with federal oversight. Principal Morrison understands that hosting Alexandria Kane requires institutional changes to prevent future incidents. Teachers receive training on recognizing signs of harassment. Students learn that certain behaviors trigger federal intervention rather than traditional discipline. Madison continues her education under dual identity. Federal protection maintains her Madison Turner cover, while Grant provides advanced training in her father's methods. She becomes protector of other victims, using both legal and extra-legal resources to ensure student safety. Riverside Academy transforms into a model institution where harassment becomes extinct through superior deterrence. Other students who suffered Derek's bullying emerge with renewed confidence. They understand that someone with real power stands ready to defend them against privileged predators. Madison creates an informal network of protection that extends beyond school boundaries. Her father's organization serves justice when legal systems fail. Madison Turner walks across stage to receive her diploma, while Alexandria Kane watches from shadows. Resolution has been achieved, but escalation approaches as federal agents notice unusual crime patterns in surrounding districts. Visual clues suggest Marcus Kane's organization is expanding operations using his daughter as catalyst. Emotional shift occurs as Madison embraces both identities instead of choosing between them. She's no longer running from her father's legacy, but channeling it toward protective purposes. Ambiguous ending emerges as Agent Martinez discovers evidence of eliminated predators throughout the region. Someone is hunting bullies with professional precision and federal investigation capabilities. The final line to remember comes from Madison's valedictory speech. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one you underestimate. Her words carry double meaning as graduates disperse toward college futures. Most will live normal lives, but some carry skills that transcend civilian expectations. As summer begins, Madison receives a message from maximum security prison. Marcus Kane's final communication before transfer to isolation reads simply, "The next generation begins." Madison understands that her education is complete. She's ready to build something new from her father's teachings and her own moral compass. The story concludes with Madison driving toward her college future while federal surveillance continues. She's become something unprecedented in criminal history. A weapon trained for evil, but choosing to defend innocence. Her transformation from victim to protector represents hope that even the darkest origins can produce light. But in her rearview mirror, another predator watches from a different car. Someone who knows exactly who Madison Turner really is and wants to test themselves against Marcus Kane's daughter. The next chapter of Alexandria Kane's story is about to begin. And this time, her enemies won't underestimate what they're facing. The driver in the following car reaches for his cell phone. The number he dials connects directly to a facility that officially doesn't exist. Target confirmed. He reports in accented English. His voice carries professional calm that suggests extensive training in violence and surveillance. Madison Turner / Alexandria Kane is moving toward Interstate 95. Probable destination, her registered college address. The voice on the other end responds with authority that spans international boundaries. Maintain distance and observe only. She's more dangerous than previous intelligence suggested. The caller's identity remains classified, but his resources extend far beyond domestic criminal organizations. Foreign interests have taken notice of Marcus Kane's daughter and her unique combination of federal protection and criminal training. Madison's enhanced awareness detects the surveillance. Her father taught her to recognize professional trailing techniques during childhood lessons disguised as family road trips. She adjusts her rearview mirror slightly and confirms hostile presence. The game Derek Patterson started has attracted attention from players who operate on global scales rather than high school hierarchies. Her phone buzzes with encrypted message from Thomas Grant. New developments require immediate consultation. Madison understands that her graduation from Riverside Academy marks the beginning rather than end of her story. More dangerous challenges await someone carrying Marcus Kane's legacy forward into an uncertain future. The interstate stretches ahead like a promise of freedom, but Madison knows true freedom requires eliminating threats before they eliminate her. The hunting season has officially begun.